You have the right to remain silent, but we'd prefer if you didn't.
Spinning the law, spinning the law.
This is Mazlberg's
Spinning the law.
Spinning the Law.
Spinning the law, spinning the law.
With attorney Kendall Coffey.
All right, folks, you see the tragedy of that wonderful Kendall Coffey Spinning the Law theme, which was obviously custom made for this segment, is that Kendall Coffey is, we're still in search of Kendall Coffey. He'll be here momentarily, but he very often misses the theme. And then I have to say, well, you know, we played it, so let me sing a little bit for you so you'll see. But I'm not going to sing it this time. I have decided I will not sing this time. I'm sorry. Got a sore throat a little bit, little congestion, and I will not put myself out there to sing just to make Kendall Coffey happy. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of interesting cases. First of all, last week with Kendall, we discussed the conflicting Obamacare rulings from two courts, the D.C. Court of Appeals and the Fourth Circuit, on subsidies and the legality of those subsidies. And now the U.S. Supreme Court has been petitioned to review the case and expedite it up, and it's by the Competitive Enterprise Institute. They're coordinating and funding a couple of cases. And so this is something that we'll talk to Kendall about, what this petitioning of the U.S. Supreme Court might mean and how soon the court might actually take this case. Then we have two very interesting cases involving guns. Always interesting when the court rules on guns, or a court rules on gun laws. And the D.C. ban on the right to carry was ruled unconstitutional by a federal judge, in case you missed that. This was last Saturday, so it's almost a week ago. A federal judge in the District of Columbia overturned the city's total ban on residents being allowed to carry firearms outside their home. And Judge Frederick Scullin Jr. wrote in his ruling in Palmer versus the District of Columbia that the right to bear arms extends outside the home, and therefore gun control laws in the nation's capital are unconstitutional. Let's pick it up with that case as we welcome in the one and only Kendall Coffey. Hello, sir.
Hey, Steve, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It's always a happy Friday, and thanks for joining us. I appreciate how busy you are, sir. Let's talk about this D.C. court's, the federal judge ruling on right to carry in the District of Columbia. As I was reading when we got you here, saying that the right to bear arms, therefore the Second Amendment, I would presume, extends outside the home, and therefore gun control laws in the nation's capital are, quote-unquote, unconstitutional. What could this mean going forward? This going to make its way to the Supreme Court as well?
Oh, for sure it is. And it's really going to be fascinating to watch, because for years, I mean, literally for decades, the big question about the Second Amendment was the initial phrase, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the state. Did that somehow limit the right of people to bear arms? And as we know, the U.S. Supreme Court said no. This isn't a matter of just for militia purposes. This is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now the rest of that language, okay, there's a right to bear arms, have weapons, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. How, if at all, is that to be limited outside the home? And the argument is certainly being advanced by some that, well, that just means the home, doesn't it? But the text of the Second Amendment says nothing whatsoever about limiting this right to the home. And as we know, there's a substantial voice on that Supreme Court to look right at the text. And you can contrast that, of course, with the Fourth Amendment, where it talks about the right of people to be secure in their persons' houses. And so you don't have anything in the terms of the Second Amendment that says that this constitutional protection is only about having a gun inside your own home. So is someone going to come up with a construction that limits that in a way that the founders of our republic did not limit? We'll see, but this is going to be a very, very tough issue and a very close call, and it's certainly heading to what we music fans call the Supremes.
Well, and there's another issue kind of involving the same deal in California. In February, there was a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Ninth Circuit in California that ruled that responsible citizens have the right to carry a concealed weapon for protection. And that, I think, is now going to be heard by or they want it to be heard by the full district court out there?
But by the full Ninth
Circuit, I'm sorry, yeah.
I think at core it's the same issue. We now know that there's clearly a right, a constitutionally protected right with respect to arms. How far outside of the home does it extend? Again, the same analysis. There's nothing. Constitutional right, but from a public safety standpoint, it gets more complicated, doesn't it? And is the Supreme Court going to consider those issues? For sure. Now, there's holdings that already say that there are things they can do constitutionally with background checks and things like that. But the big drama is going to be whether if somebody who otherwise has the basic qualifications wants to just walk out of their house with their gun in their hand, can they do it? And doesn't the Constitution say they can do it? Shall not be infringed.
Yeah, yeah.
What are those words? Pretty strong words.
Going to be very interesting. I want you to hear something Ruth Bader Ginsburg said to Katie Couric about the Hobby Lobby case. And she said that she felt that the men on the court didn't really get it because they're not women. And Katie pushed it a little bit. And I just want you to listen to this answer.
But you do, in fact, feel these 5 justices had a bit of a blind spot?
In Hobby Lobby? Yes.
And why was that?
Just the same kind of blind spot the majority had in Lilly Ledbetter's case.
Because they couldn't understand what it is like to be a woman?
They all have, they have wives, they have daughters. By the way, I think daughters can change the perception of their fathers.
All right, that just bothered me so much. She said that the male justices had a blind spot because they're not women in the Hobby Lobby case, and I think she said the Ledbetter case. I'm not sure, Lilly Ledbetter, possibly. And she, then to hear that daughters can change the perception of their fathers. I know it's not reality, but I always wanted to. That's why it always bothered me when I hear justices say they look to other countries to see how they handle issues. Whether you're a strict constructionist or not, aren't you supposed to look at the law and judge on the law and not what your daughter tells you, not where you have a soft spot for something? Shouldn't it be done by the law?
Well, let me slightly disagree with you.
Okay.
I do what my wife tells me to do, and I do what my daughter tells me to do. But with respect to the concern that males are unable to fairly judge the Constitution, I do have to take issue with that. And I would also emphasize that, of course there's going to be disagreement about the Hobby Lobby case, just as there was with respect to Citizens United, which really in many ways is the core of that case. Rather than a case about contraception, I think a number of people see it as a case about the First Amendment. And so that even if you are operating or working through a corporate form, you still have First Amendment rights.
Right. I mean, I don't
think that's a gender-based issue.
Right.
I don't think that's daughter, son, mom, or dad. I think that there's a strong feeling about the First Amendment, and you have many strong First Amendment statements that have been issued by this particular Supreme Court.
Is it kind of a cop-out or on her part, or an unfair labeling of the male justices, you think?
Well, not only do I do what my wife and daughter says, I'm pretty guarded about talking about judges and justices. I wouldn't call it a cop-out.
Okay.
I think it's a view that's shared by others. It's not shared by me, though, in the sense that I believe that the decision on Hobby Lobby, agree with it or not, is based ultimately on the First Amendment and the view that you don't give up all those First Amendment rights
Right.
if you happen to do business through a corporate forum.
All right, Kendall. Love our sessions. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and keep following the orders. It's a good thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Have a great weekend.
Take care. Kendall Coffey, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Mazlberg Show, the great attorney, weighing in. Yeah, that bothered me. That really, really bothered me. You know, the men don't get it because it's about women's birth control. That's a real slap. That's a real insult. If it came the other way from a male about the female justices, if there was an issue involving guns, well, you know, these little women, they don't really get it, you see. They don't know about guns. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. I think so. Give Me 5 is next, and you're going to love it, I promise, on the Steve Mazlberg Show.